Janis Joplin, this poor girl who'd come from a normal home and had gone to a normal school, was persecuted and tormented from the age of 5.
She grew up in the South, in Port Arthur in Texas in the 40s, and it was a racist state, and I think she instinctively reacted against that. I think her parents had liberal views, and it's quite likely the bullying of Janis came from her expressing these liberal views in this redneck culture in which she was existing.
She started using alcohol to self-medicate from her early teens. So before she became an artist, she was already using alcohol to try and self-soothe.
She was once voted ugliest man on the campus at her college.
I didn't go to the high school prom, and
Oh, you were asked, weren't you?
no, I wasn't. They didn't think, I don't think they wanted to take me.
Janis Joplin, I think, was a very tormented character. Her primal scream, I think, was a subject of what was she screaming about?
Use me now, please, please. Come down here and use me now.
Went to San Francisco in 1963.
And she goes, I think, almost immediately to City Lights Books, which was owned by Lawrence Ferlinghetti, the great poet, and she kind of loves that existence.
And of course immersed herself in the drug culture. Started injecting heroin, took a lot of cocaine, other kind of psycho drugs, was in the music scene, started to get involved with musicians, performed at Monterey and Woodstock, terribly. Pete Townsend actually said after her performance at Woodstock, mind you, even Janis Joplin on a bad night is better than everybody else.
You know, it's just music. Music's supposed to be different than that.
I think when you look at someone like Janis Joplin, I've talked to people who worked with Janis and were close to Janis, and they all sort of say the same thing, which was, we could see she was floundering, we could see she was in trouble, but we didn't have the vocabulary that we have now. No one knew or talked about rehab or addiction. You looked at someone like that and just thought, why can't she drink a little less? Why does she have to drink a bottle of Jack Daniels? Why is she doing heroin? I wish we could stop this.
When Janis signs her record contract, she is clearly already, an alcoholic.
What is it you think young people are looking for today? 25 words or less. This is radio.
Sincerity and a good time.
Are they finding it?
I don't know about you, Daddy, but I'm fine. At least I'm having a good time.
Every pop star has an unexpected moment when they're alone. No matter what kind of entourage you have, suddenly you're in a bedroom on your own and you have a couple of hours to spend. What do you do?
If you inject heroin, the extraordinary transformation in your physiology is so dramatic that you're catapulted into a state where you momentarily are disconnected from your miserable emptiness inside.
I would have been very worried about what was going on. Anyone who's had a serious heroin addiction like that, you've got to stop it.
And towards the end, as you know, Janis took to drugs far too often and far too heavily. That is a story of tragedy repeated many times over with the 27 Club or whatever you wish to call these people.
Janis Joplin once said that she was a victim of her own insides, that there was too much feeling. And many artists, as anyone who thinks deeply about the artistic nature, have a layer of skin missing. They feel things more than other artists.
I was a painter and a sort of a recluse in high school. I've changed.
She tried to clean up, she moved back home, she started wearing a beehive and normal clothes and got engaged to some bloke, but in there she knew that this wasn't her, this wasn't Janis.